Hi, I'm Shenan Reed, President of Digital for MEC Global North America, and I am here at CES with the ARF.
How did you get to CES 2016 from being a dancer?
I grew up doing musical theater. I went to a high school for performing and visual arts. I was a dance major. And then I had this moment when I moved to New York in my early 20s where I realized I was good enough to actually have a career and not have to have another job outside of having a career as a performer.
How do you deal with failure?
Well, so I think that's a big piece of it right there, is that moment where you go, you know what? It's not the end of the world. So something's going to change, and now I just have to figure out what that change is. I never felt like a failure at performing. I still love a stage, and I still love a microphone, and those skills still come in very handy for me.
Some of your quotes, one that's been picked up in a few different places is that advertising today is like a 3-year-old with their parents. Consumers and advertising, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So say a little bit more about that.
The digital side of the business, we started with this idea that we were going to be able to target and track everybody, which was great. And I will say that I think our biggest fault in the industry is that we tracked everything. Mm-hmm. Digital tracking and the promise that we gave to our clients of we can track it all, even though not everything is worth tracking. Well, the 3-year-old thing kind of came into play when we were talking about the annoyance factor of advertising. Why are consumers ignoring us? Because we're annoying.
Annoying by media placement or by
both.
The creative? Because
there's this challenge in the digital space that we're moving so quickly that we keep producing creative. The message that we're ultimately delivering to that consumer is not interesting, and we're not showing them anything that's of value. We know that didn't work, but you'd be amazed how many people still do that. Mm-hmm. Then we had pop-ups, which everybody was annoyed by the pop-ups.
Right. So who's doing it well today?
I don't know that anybody's doing it exceptionally well. It's not the tools, it's the volume of creative executions we can get. So I think the technology is evolving rather quickly. I think we're going to see more opportunities, but getting the cost of the creative execution down in a way that the creative is still correct for the brand. And I think that's where the conflict comes in between the creative agency and the media agency. And that's one of the big changes I think I'm seeing over the course of our clients, at least, is this desire to make sure that we really have this true, not just power of partnership within the organization that is their media agency, but a partnership that also includes their creative agency, that we are all at the same table together from the moment of the creative brief, which is always the first thing that happens, through to the execution of the media plan. If we can all sit at the same table and be a partnership, it does make the whole process much more fluid, and I think also opens us up to bigger opportunities.
I'm really interested in the fact that a number of your clients were actually luxury brands.
They were.
How do you market luxury brands?
So luxury is an interesting space. It's a space where you have to value the brand first and foremost above everything else.
How do you do that?
A little bit is about living it and breathing it. But it is to say that if you can spend some time getting into the mindset of that customer, and some of that is research, some of that is spending time in the store, some of that is listening to the brand. And the brands were always really wonderful with their agencies, understanding who that customer is in each of those moments, and who they're building it for, I think helps you appreciate why you're doing what you're doing. We did see consumers change the behavior of what they were buying because they didn't want it to be so in the face, but they still bought luxury. Luxury didn't see that decline that the rest of the industry. I don't know if you noticed, but luxury brands, for the most part, over the course of the past few years, have actually raised their prices. Some of them have shut down their more entry-level product lines to focus on their higher couture
Maybe more
lines.
exclusive.
Yeah.
Do you think they're better at being really specific about brand guidelines?
Absolutely. They govern it by the people they choose. I often get asked, how is it that we had an agency that was a fairly small to medium-sized agency that had so many luxury brands who were technically competitive with each other under the same roof. The difference is that there is a luxury expertise that we brought to the table, and they appreciate and value that expertise above and beyond the concerns that they would have about the competitiveness. The brands themselves, for the most part, understand where they each fit and how their customers are different. And we bring that consumer focal point to them. If you notice digital luxury brands, when they advertise, what you'll see is that they take over the entire page. There's no other ad unit on the page from any other advertiser. They don't want that competitive nature.
What was your biggest success in 2015?
2015 was my first full year at MEC.
Yeah, that's a big one.
It was a big one, and it was an exciting year. We won some amazing pieces of business, including L'Oreal and GoDaddy. At the end of 2014, we won the Tiffany business, which made me feel, thank you, which made me feel a little at home, right? Coming back to some of my luxury roots was a lot of fun. To me, that was such a badge of honor as a media agency to have that digital kind of checkbox of like, you guys did it. You're not just a media agency, you are a digital media agency.
You don't get these awards all the time. You need to step back and really say, wow, job well done.
Take a moment, And I took a
Exactly.
moment with the team. The client sits at the heart of everything that we do. Those team members
It's really
actually
clear that
sit
that's your orientation.
physically together, right? And we have, to be clear, a couple of places where that's not currently happening that we're fixing over the course of the next few months. We're physically putting all of Campbell's physically together, all of Marriott physically together, because that's the business that they work on every day, and that should be their home room. So it's our job to continue to educate and grow that talent, make sure that they feel like a community outside of their day-to-day running of a client business, but they also feel like they're part of that running
Yeah,
of a
I mean,
client business.
it also really feels like you've made it very grassroots. It's like a philosophy
It is.
that this is how we're going to grow.
Yeah.
How about a prediction for 2016?
2015 was a year where we really spent a lot of time talking about viewability. The future is not just measuring on whether the ad was viewable, but how long it was in view. So I think in 2016, we're going to see a lot of test and learn on time spent in view.
I
And
agree.
potentially moving to what I like to call the CP30, a cost per
Yes.
30 seconds of view time. It takes close to 7 seconds for a consumer to realize that they've actually seen something, right? So if we're moving on a mobile screen at 200 pixels per second, the ad may have gotten 100% pixel in view, but was it really in view? Did it really create an impression? Probably not. So I think our definition of impression needs to change, and that's where I think the opportunity to talk about cost in view or 30 seconds of view time is actually an opportunity to truly
Interesting.
make sure that we're making an impression.
Do you
on a
believe in
consumer.
experimentation?
Oh, very much.
Yeah.
No, if you're not experimenting, then you're not pushing the industry forward, and you're not looking for what's new and interesting. That's the fun part of what we do, is that it's constantly changing.
Thank you. It's been so great to meet you and spend
as
time
well.
together.
Thank you.